back to my channel. I'm Noreen, owner of Call Clutter Fairy Home Organizing, and this is my YouTube channel, The Crafty Organizer. On Monday, I told you I had a big project that I have been working on, and today is day one of that project. So my garage, I showed you a clip before, is a mess. And as an organizer, I could not be more mortified that this is my existence. But I think having a garage like this is truly what helps me to empathize and identify as I'm working with clients, because I understand firsthand how easy it is to get overwhelmed, how hard it is to make decisions on all of those little things that we have, whether it be memory items or something you spent money on, or something that you really like but you just don't have room for. So I've always known what I needed to do, which was pull everything out and start over, but that's a lot of work. Thankfully, we're at home right now and there isn't any pressing needs to leave, so I have nothing but time and I got to finally do the garage. So I broke this down into segments. I worked on my little Excel spreadsheet to make a floor plan for you so that you could see. If you're new to my channel, you may not know that I am working out of a garage. So what I'm sitting in right now is just a section of the garage. So next to me, on the right of me, is my little pathway and laundry area. And then behind me, I've broken it into two sections. One was always intended to be a workbench, tool area, and the other was storage. The problem is other than the laundry, which was kind of already set up from when I moved in, the back areas have always just been a mess. So now I've had a chance to actually break this down section by section. So day one is the laundry room. So let me show you what I did.
Okie dokie, here's the garage that I've struggled with forever. Every time I have an incarnation of the garage and it evolves into something else, I adjust this, and every time it doesn't seem to work. So, as an organizer, this tells me that this isn't the right system for me. So this is my overflow project area. It's where I store my extra wood. It's where every time I get the doors that I find at Lowe's or Home Depot, the samples for cabinet doors, I store those. I have a bunch of just miscellaneous wood for projects that I want. And I like to keep the bits and baubles as I find things so that if I want to do a project, I've got it. But this is horrible and I can't find things. So this is going to stay, but I'm definitely going to revamp how it's organized so that things are easy to find. This is my laundry area, and I hate it. The walls in the garage are the original. They're exposed. They're not finished. So that bugs me. But then all of these things were added after the 1940s, and they were added on the outside of the beams. So I can't just put something over it. I have to somehow integrate it. And then past tenants have added all of this excess bulky wood, which I also don't have the strength or the tools to take down. So I have to work around these things. So I'm going to be revamping this and making it as cute as possible, but still functional. Back over here is my scary, I don't know what to do with it, so I'm going to shove it in this corner. And this is the worst. So I have to pull all of this out. Underneath are some wall-mounted kitchen cabinets that somebody was throwing away that I grabbed, and I'd hoped to use them here in the laundry area. But then I realized that I don't have the know-how with all the electrical that's been run through behind here to properly install them. And since I'm a renter, I don't want to do anything to damage these existing walls, so I'm abandoning that idea, and I'm going to take those two and put them against that wall and get some sort of a counter, and that's going to be my workbench area with my tools and supplies. Then two of my favorite metal storage racks are going to go right here, and that's going to be where all of my Clutter Fairy supplies are. And then these things are all magically going to find homes within the new systems that I'm building. This whole crazy area back here, now remember, these are the backs of my bookcases that frame the area that you see every day in my videos. And here is the back of the other 3 bookcases. So this is where my head is while I'm filming on the other side. So with the remaining area of my garage, this is all just storage. These are my Clutter Fairy supplies right now. I have all of my holiday things up above. Back over here are memory and childhood things for my kids. And then this is all yikes. I mean, come on, yikes. I've always been embarrassed to show you this, but you know, I've got the time to truly tackle it right now. I wish I could have my crew here with me, but we're all making sure to keep that social distance. So I'm going to be tackling this by myself. But if I can do it, then that gives you the power to know that you could do it too. So let's get started. All right, forgive all the outside noise. There's nothing I can really do about it. So here is my little laundry area with things removed. Now, again, this cracks me up. So whoever lived here previously, there's a hole through the wall up there where they ran an extension cord, and that's where they have, that's how they got outside electricity to this place. Pretty sure that's not up to code, but you know what? It works. So we're gonna leave that alone. But things like this crack me up. This is obviously the history of all those who have lived here before me. So I'm gonna leave that little bit of history there for someone else to discover. But what I am going to do is cover the visual part of this with wrapping paper. I got this at the end of Christmas at 90% off. It is 16 feet by 30 inches. So if I do something like right about here, that'll go up a pretty high way. And all I'm trying to do is make it look a little bit prettier when I walk in. Obviously, if I owned this place, I would have somebody help me and do this over, but that's not my option since I am a renter. So I'm just trying to make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing while I'm here. So that's what I'm going to be doing next. And the other thing I'm going to do is someone was giving away this amazing bathroom cabinet. I am who I am. I snatched it up in a nanosecond and I love it. And I'm hoping someday I have the perfect place for it. But for right now, it holds my overflow laundry supplies. And I'm going to go ahead and move that over there. If you are doing a big project like this, you guys, please make sure you're using safety methods. Have someone help you. Be safe. Out of focus. I do have to take these brackets off so that I can put the wrapping paper up as flush as possible. And it's definitely going to be a little tricky around these areas. I do not want to mess with trying to take these spigots off. So I'm going to have to cut around those so that the wrapping paper goes up flush against it. And I do not want wrapping paper around this. So there's going to be a big giant square around that. So in this area, the wrapping paper is only going to be able to attach to these conduits for the electricity that's been added. Once again, all of this stuff was added after the build of the garage. And while they did a good job with this, it sadly means that I can't just put something over without being creative like this for a finished look. One of the tenants previously did finish this whole corner and I love it. This is where my office used to be. And if I could figure out how to do the whole garage, I would, but I don't. All right, you guys know I love my spray adhesive. On something like this, trying to tack it in or trying to tape it is going to be a pain in the butt. So I'm going to use the spray mount on this solid area and a little bit down here just so it has something more to stick to. And then I'm going to roll out my paper the length of this after I measure it and spray that paper. And then I'm just going to tack it up with my handy dandy assistant who is holding the camera. So we rolled out the wrapping paper. When I measured the area I want, it's 95 inches. So I laid out my whole measuring tape. And thankfully, this was inexpensive wrapping paper, so you could totally see the pattern through. I'm just going to use the check mark as my guide to cut straight, and I'm going to cut it the length of 95 inches.
The next step is for my handy dandy assistant to spray the top portion with the spray mount, and we'll put it up on the wall. That weird piece of wood, it ends right on this line, and again, one of the reasons I chose the checkered is so that I have an easy guide all the way to the wall, so that this next part can lay down flat, and you can see that it immediately starts to lay down flat again. And these are the spigots. So what I'm going to do with the spigots is cut. Again, I love you lines. So I'm going to cut this. For those of you with finished laundry rooms, this is not a necessity at all, although I do like wrapping paper for a myriad of things to make them pretty. So this is just going to lay flat here like this. This is probably where I'll tape it. Yeah, because that's more wood. There isn't a whole lot I can do with that. But with this, I'm just going to cut around. And this might not be the prettiest cut, but I'm hoping that it is enough to just fit around.
Which it is.
And then I'm going to come to the other side and do kind of the same. There we go. Just enough, again, for that visual to look a little bit better. And as I said before, I'll probably just tape these down if it doesn't hang well enough once I'm all done. So this is my 90-cent fix for a wall that I couldn't otherwise cover. I'll take the balance.
Say hi.
Hi.
So this was a nightmare, but we took contact paper and covered this cabinet because it keeps sprinkling on us, and so I couldn't spray paint. This was a mess, but for what it's going to be doing, it worked. It looks much better white, and now I can put it up without having to wait. All right, here's a little update. So as I mentioned, this cabinet was covered with contact paper, and we're just starting to do a little bit of the decorating. We added a little shelf here. We're putting up a couple of the decor things. I'm going to go ahead and move that. Are you okay? I'm going to go ahead and move that cabinet over here, and then I'll show you the day one finished project, and then tomorrow we will carry on into the garage. So check back with you in a second. Sorry for the bad video for this, but I had this tall cabinet door that was just the frame. So I cut out squares of foam board and filled it in because I didn't have a piece of foam board that would fill it up. And it was 7 squares, which just happens to be perfect for the word laundry. I don't have any stickers that are big like this, and we're not supposed to leave the house, so I can't run to the dollar store. So I found some of these old rub-ons, and that's what I'm doing right now. So this is super lightweight because it's just the frame and then the little pieces of the foam core, and I'm going to dent these in a little bit more so it kind of looks like a shiplap, and we'll see how it looks when I'm done. I am overjoyed with how this laundry area turned out. Now, if you have an unfinished basement or you are in an unfinished garage, I know you can identify with how nice it would be to have a better looking aesthetic. If you have an indoor finished laundry room, I envy you. Obviously, these would not be solutions for you, but they are working and so exciting for me. So something I've been holding on to is I wanted some containers that I could put my items in, but I didn't want my kids to break them. So I found these plastic containers
These were at a candy shop and I just asked if I could buy them. They're the plastic holders for the charm pops. They actually let me take them. I think they charged me 50 cents or something like that. But these are fantastic because they're really big, but they're a lightweight plastic, so I don't have to worry about if they get dropped. Now, the one on the left is my laundry softening solution, and I got that idea from Catherine at Do It on a Dime, so I'll link that video. On top, I just have some boxes from IKEA that I keep some of my gardening supplies in. And then I did this little vignette just so it looked prettier to hide some of the things that were behind it. So I took that tall, beautiful cabinet and broke it into two. This allows more light flow, and it also gives me the ability to spread out if I want to do any type of laundry. This sweet washing board was something I got in Jerome, Arizona probably 30 years ago, and I've always wanted to display it in a laundry room, but I never had one. And I added these little wooden hangers again just to kind of break up the visual line of it, and my garage does not open high enough to impede on the rack for those. I used an over-the-door hanger with two hooks to hang my ironing board on, and that also separates the area but also gives me the ability to pull it off and easily use it. Now I do have a new washing machine, but my little dryer is old. I bought it used about 7 years ago, and when I got it, it had already seen some better days. I know that I could repaint it, and that might be in my future, but right now I'm only using the things that I have readily available at home, so I just I just resurfaced it with white contact paper. And now it's nice and clean and smooth. And I did the same thing for the little cabinet because it has a yellow tint to it. But you guys, I truly am in love with my laundry space. I just can't tell you how good it feels to walk out here and see something that looks pretty. Everything is easily reachable, and I have a surface space to lay my things out and do sorting and do folding before I take it back inside. Is it stupid that I'm so excited about my laundry space? For me, and for the fact that it was such an eyesore, I am over the moon happy with how this turned out, and I'm pretty excited to actually do laundry now. I'm catching up on blankets and sheets that have been just set aside for a while, and I have a great space to do it in. So the next area I'm going to work on tomorrow is my Clutter Fairy area, and that's my business for my home organizing. So I have all kinds of supplies, and I'm going to be moving around some of my racks so that I can better organize those. So be sure to come back on Friday and see part 2 of this series. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to read your comments, and I will see you Friday. Bye.